The white man is the see, I've been here for a little minute. You know what I'm saying? And I see niggas, they like to talk a lot, they like to claim this shit, they like to claim this nigga. You know what I'm saying? They like to be above when they really have authority. They don't really need that authority, they don't really know what to do with that leadership. Understand? The whole hands is all your ass, nigga, stop and ask you. Goddamn what you talk about. Give a fuck what you believe, nigga. Gotta stand up and serve my God. We don't pray on our knees, nigga. Yeah. Everybody put on that peace up, everybody put on that mic on. Boy, ass, he stop and ask you. Practice, my nigga serious. Boy, when they hit us with dope and kill us with crack, what the fuck with your leaders? I'm curious. You catch down on your blood, traded you in and bought a new beats. Ask you the problems, I tell you the streets. If you don't wake up, you gon' die in your dreams. I say you won't, won't tell you no more. I swear these crackers try to kill us slow. Just spoke to a nigga and fed me up for parole because of the COVID. It feel like a host in this world and double together. Know when it's going together. I'm in the city blazing with my niggas. Just told the devil the snow never settled. Yeah, props. I'm tired of these niggas keep talking about, you respect my religion, I respect your religion. Boy, your ass need to stop and ask you props. You know what I'm so often to them. They say God sold up the world. God sold up the world and know your ass need to stop and ask you. Goddamn what you talking about. Don't give a fuck what you believe. You gotta stand up and serve my God. We don't pray on our knees, nigga. Yeah. Hey, gentlemen, y'all don't pray on our knees, nigga. Stand up. You know what I'm saying? Boy, your ass need to stop and ask you. Why I'm gonna step outside of the show for the fake niggas. Say solid, I got it. Let's go, let's go. I ain't taking no loss. Ain't no talking, but we got the flow. Ain't no peace, just play with your own. Be low to the right off. Tell them we can't keep it safe. And I can never let bike off me, bike off. Got you, baby, mother, boy, high on high. Baby, pass through the fire. Ask you props. There may be something below to the Lord. I dare you to fall. You never gonna fail, bitch, I can't fall. I prepare slow, you bring my water. Take us your leads weak, let the lies slip through that TV. Stop the ass, props.
That's just the reality, Christian. I'm sorry to hurt your feelings. I know your pastor lied to you every Sunday for 30 years. Right. But that's what the church is for. That's why it's just a lie. The money out of your pocket.
Boy, your ass need to stop and ask you. Give a damn what you talk about. Don't give a fuck what you believe. Nigga, gotta stand up and serve my God. We don't pray on our knees, nigga. We don't pray on our knees, nigga. Stand up and serve my God. We don't pray on our knees, nigga. Leader. Yeah. We speak the truth, but we a cult leader. Yeah. Well, listen, I'm a cult leader. Yeah. Well, listen, I'm a cult leader. Yeah. They say I'm in the cult. They say a nigga lost, but I didn't lost it all. Family it all. They didn't get involved. Niggas wanna ball. Son wanna starve. Back against the wall. We gon' show them all. I don't wanna be here. Land of the slaves. We are not afraid. We are not the same. I done seen death, nigga, looking in his eyes. My higher man told me don't look surprised. Them haters gon' cry, but them devils gon' cry. I don't wanna side, nigga, I just wanna ride. I don't wanna hide what I really feel inside. Devils gonna play, but what they get in mind. Look me in my eyes, I'm on 7 wives.
Shalom Yahweh, Hashem Yahweh Shai, Barakatham to all my brothers. Shalom Yahweh, Shamar Elathan, Bahashim, Yahweh Shai to all my sisters. This is the I.S.U.P.K under Commandant General Yohana, started out 125th Street in Harlem, New York. We're here to teach that the 12 tribes of Israel are the Blacks, Hispanics, and Native Americans. And we use that using the Bible, archaeological evidence, and architectural evidence, stuff dug out the earth. So with that, today's topic, well, last week we went over that Christ is not God. So this week our topic is who was Christ? So to make a long story short, for lack of better words, Christ is our King, and he was the Word made flesh. And I'm going to go in and use the book to prove that. See, now, there's a lot of misconception on this, and it needs to be clarified because Christ is our King. He's not God. So, people start worshiping the wrong way, and doing the wrong things out of this misconception that they're treating in the Christian church, But the Christian church does everything against God. But with that, we're going to go ahead and start with our first chapter, which will be John chapter 1, verse 1. And I'm going to read through to verse 5. First John chapter 1, verse 1. In the beginning was the Word, and the Word was with God, and the Word was God. Verse 2. The same was in the beginning with God. All things were made by him, and without him was not anything made that was made. In him was life, and in the life was the light of men. So, pretty much, it's telling you that what this is basically telling you is that Christ has always been with the Ancient of Days. Christ was the first creation given power to create. That's who King Christ was. And he was the Word which was put down here on earth in the flesh so that we could get the Word. And I'm going to prove that to you. I'm going to go in here and I'm going to prove that to you. With that, let me go to Hebrews chapter 2, verse 17. Now here, listen to this. Hebrews chapter 2, verse 17. Wherefore in all things it behoved him to be made like unto his brethren, that he might be a merciful and faithful high priest in things pertaining to God, to make reconciliation for the sins of the people. So, it's pretty self-explanatory right here. It goes in with what I just said. He was the first creation given power to create, and that's pretty much what this verse is saying. And it's also saying that he wanted to be made just like us. He didn't want to be made different. so that it would be easier for us to like, oh yeah, okay, accept what he was saying, because he could be like, hey man, I'm no different from you. I'm a man too. I'm not the ancient of days. I'm a man. So right there is just telling you. That's why we say that, he was the word in the flesh. Came down here with the law. He's the first Adam and the last Adam. So with that, I'm gonna go over here to Matthew's chapter 1, verse 21. Let's see what the Apostle Matthew has to say about this matter. So, we'll bring out another verse. And Matthew chapter 1, verse 21. And this is talking about, the birth that's was prophesied. And we'll go into it. Matthew chapter 1, verse 21. And she shall bring forth a son, and thou shalt call his name. Well, in the Bible, it says Jesus, which actually wasn't his true name, because this book was written in Paleo Hebrew, and all names have a meaning. But everybody's been calling him that for so long, so we're going to ride with it just so that everybody will stay here with us and understand. I'm going to start that again. Matthew chapter 1, verse 21. And she shall bring forth a son, and thou shalt call his name Jesus, for he shall save his people from their sins. Now, when you translate the word Jesus, we all know that means Hail Zeus. The first slave ship was named Jesus. And if you ever look up Paleo Hebrew, there is no J in Paleo Hebrew at all. So we know that that's false, But Yahweh Shai translated means he shall save his people from their sins. Now, the last verse I read, and it said that he will save the people. But here in Matthew is where we get clarity. He was not talking about he's going to save everybody. He's going to save his people, possessive. It's possessive. And the Lord says, I change not. That's the beautiful thing about that. He's not a flip-flopper like these politicians are today, like Joe Biden, Trump, all of them. It don't matter which one the vice president, Kamala Harris. I'll probably butcher her name, but you guys, her, all of them is flip-floppers, flip-flop, flip-flop. Each state is a flip-flop state. They change laws, they pick them up, they drop them. I mean, and it's like that in every other country. Just here in Canada, starting January the 31st, they made all drugs legal. Well, I decriminalized. I'm not really sure about legal, but I know that you will not be arrested. So, for having drugs on you, and then I was just watching a study where over in Colombia that where it used to be legal, and now they're finna be make it legal. So it's finna be a mess around here. It's finna be a mess, and Esau is the biggest drug consumer on the planet. So and since more of their people are going to jail and less of ours, and their numbers are increasing, they're changing the laws. That's why the book says they take crafty counsel against thy people. But just because they're doing all that, don't get it misconstructed. If you go out and do what they do, you're going to get double the punishment. You're going to get punished from the Most High in Christ, and you're going to get punished from them because you are his people. He's possessive about his people. He don't care what those other people do. He care what you do. He told you not to do that, and it's for a good reason. Right now, that stuff is mixed with fit now. I just seen a brother I know last week, and he was telling me how he know this guy that was selling drugs, and he sold somebody some. The guy did it, and he died, and now the guy's in jail. The seller with a manslaughter charge. Well, you're not supposed to be selling drugs. You're binding roots together. You're controlling people. It's a form of witchcraft. But our people don't know that. But you should come find out before you be used to as an example. You don't want to be used as an example. But just like I said, he will save his people. So everybody know what Jesus translate to. So what's the reverse of those words? He will save his people from their sins. What does that translate into Paleo Hebrew? Yahweh Shai. There's no Yahushua, there's no E in Paleo, so before you just jump on the bandwagon, maybe you should really do some research. Here in the I.S.U.P.K under Commanding General Yohana, we use the Oxford Language Dictionary for the Holy Lash Kodash, which is the Holy Tongue. And it is a separate language. It's not the same language that they're speaking over there in Israel today. That's Jiddish. That's different language mixed together. So, you want to know more? Hey, I.S.U.P.K.com. You can find out more. We have a class every Friday on the Lash Quadan Kodash on Fridays. You could come and learn Paleo Hebrew. And then you just don't have to go by what those brothers are saying. You could go and research and check it yourself. Everybody's got a phone. Pull it up on your phone. Double check it. Make sure they're right. Which they are. But with that, I'm going to go down here to 1 Corinthians chapter 11, verse 5. 1 Corinthians chapter 11, verse 5. But every woman that prayeth or prophesies with her Salakia. I'm in the wrong area. Okay. It's 1 Corinthians chapter 11, verse 3. 1 Corinthians chapter 11, verse 3. But I would have you know that the head of every man is Christ. Our head is Christ. That's our king. And the head of the woman is the man. Now the man is the head. The man is the head. It's all it is to it. It's right here in the book. The man is the head. The man is the woman's king. You know. So, and that's not too far-fetched. You know, women call us, that all the time. Lord. Some people look down on it like that, but back then that we talked different. So it wasn't as far-fetched and sounding like a woman is, doing too much. That was the normal thing. You've heard them say over there in Europe, and they show those night movies. My Lord, my Lord. The woman is always calling her husband, my Lord. She's calling the king, my Lord. That's just the way people talk. Nowadays they look down on like that, like you just really belittling the woman. And that's furthest from the case. That is furthest from the case. And the head of Christ is God. So the woman follows the man's directions. The man follows Christ's directions. And Christ follows God's directions. So us as men, we don't have to worry about it. We just have to follow Yahweh's directions. And he wrote them down for us. And he got his directions from the Ancient of Days, the creator of everything seen and everything not seen. And then the woman, she gets our instructions from us. And she doesn't have to worry about it because she knows that we're getting our directions from Christ. Now, Commanding General Yohana is ahead of us because there's no better person to lead us and there's no better teacher. He's been holding it down. So he is the head of us. And you know who he follows? He follows Christ. So we don't have to worry about it because we know where Commanding General Yohana is getting his directions from. And where is his directions? It's written down. He's not using this for his own self-gain, like Donald Trump. Donald Trump's still making money. A little Republican convention, they had all kind of stuff for sale. They're just an advertisement frenzy. So with that, I'm going to go to 1 Peter chapter 3, verse 22. First Peter chapter 3, verse 22. First Peter chapter 3, verse 22. Hey, who is gone into heaven and is on the right hand of God, angels and authorities and powers being made subject unto him. So Yahweh Shai is sitting right next to the Ancient of Days, and he's in charge, just like we read at the beginning in John chapter 1 through 5. Same thing. He went through all that. He proved himself, just like we like to say in the UPK. Prove yourself. Christ did. He proved himself. The apostles did. They proved themselves. The prophets did. They proved themselves. I'm going to read that one more time. First Peter chapter 3, verse 22. Who is gone into heaven and is on the right hand of God, angels and authorities and powers being made subject unto him. Everybody, everything. That's why we say he's our king. That's who Christ is, our king. That's who rules over us. His law trumps all other laws. Well, his laws are hand in hand with the Most High's laws. So anything that, and Esau has made it where the Most High has made it that where you could keep his laws and Esau's laws. You keep both of them. Esau, that the people like to say, well, there's a lot of laws, over 625 of them. Christ added commandments. Love thy neighbor as you love thyself. Go out into the streets. Spread the word. So he added commandments, and we follow those too. I had someone didn't think that us in the I.S.U.P.K read the New Testament, and I had to let them know, yes, we do. We read the old and the new because we know. We just don't think, we just don't believe. We know for a fact that the New Testament backs up the Old Testament. Just like the I.S.U.P.K had been bringing out UFOs since 1969. And forever the government was denying it. Well, okay, yeah, there's UFOs now, and they got all these, but they're not saying nothing that we haven't been said. But when we were saying that, people thought we were crazy. Oh, hey, man, those dudes is tripping. No, it's in the book. That's what it's in the Bible. So you have all these shows, but they don't ever, bring out accurate descriptions in the full scriptures in the Bible. That's like ancient aliens. They like to talk about Ezekiel, but they don't never talk about the colors of the feet of the angels that was, carrying the throne of the Most High. They don't talk about that. That they were like the color of bronze. They don't say that. They leave that part out. All right, with that, I'm going to go to Revelations chapter 3, verse 21. Revelations chapter 3, verse 21. To him that overcometh will I grant to sit with me in my throne, even as I also overcame and am set down with my Father in his throne. Here that hath an ear, let him hear what the Spirit said unto the churches. So there's your reward for overcoming. You know, that's your reward. That's what we look forward to, here in the I.S.U.P.K. Sitting with our King. So we're out here proving ourselves. Yeah, you'll see us out here in the streets because that's what our King told us to do. We're fitting together, and all Blacks and Hispanics and Native Americans are invited. You other camps have been ordered to come to the 54 annual Passover in Raleigh, Durham, North Carolina, April the 1st. You guys wanted you want some unity? Come unify with us. You are welcome. It won't be like brothers won't be fighting. We're not gonna have all that. So come, enjoy yourself, hang out with your people, because that's what Christ commanded us to do. Gather yourself together, O nation, not together. The more we gather together, we will give Yahweh Shai a reason to come back and get justice for us. If you really want justice, that's how we get justice. We're never going to get justice from some unjust people. They've proven that time and time again. This is the only way. There's only one way. You've tried everything else. Martin Luther King, Malcolm X. Niggas was running around here doing Gandhi, Pan Africa, Buddhism, the Egyptology. Why won't you try your own culture and quit trying everybody else's culture? You don't believe this is your culture? Take the time and really do some research. I recently had somebody badgering King James, and I said, it's pretty easy to badger a man that's not alive and died over 1,600 years ago. He can't defend himself. I said, but do you have evidence to back up any of these accusations that, what was he saying, that he was a homosexual, and that, what else he said, that him and Shakespeare's was lover? I've never heard that. I never heard that before. And I said, I've got evidence that contradicts what you're saying. There's love letters that he wrote to his wife. He was black. He was at war with the Catholic Church, and him translating The Bible, the 1611 King James, is the reason why he caught so much flack and lost his life. The Catholic Church tried to blow him up. It was several assassination attempts on his life. And I said, now I could show you the evidence of that. I said, so, finally I got to it. I said, well, you're trying to get me upset, I'm not going to get upset, because, it's for you to accept this information or not. It's for you, to know the truth or suffer the consequences for not following, the truth. That's your choice. All I could do, all I could do is, give you the information. So I asked him, since I tell you the truth, how I now become your enemy. And with that, I'm going to end this class. Shalom, Israel.